Hello, beautiful humans. Thank you so much for joining my live today, talking about hair loss, DHT blockers, and my Samson beard, hair, lash, cuticle, body, you name it, it does it oil. Okay, I'm going to try to stay focused today. I'm going to stay focused. I get so excited about talking about things and educating things, and the next thing I know, 45 damn minutes have gone by. I'm trying to keep them shorter than that. Hello, Tiffany. Hope you're well. Thanks, everyone, for joining. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about a little bit about what is the main cause of hair loss. It's not the only cause, but it's one of the main causes that scientists have been able to connect. So the last time we did a talk about Samson, I really went into more of the oils and what the different oils did today, but I hadn't done as much. I've done research on DHT, but I didn't get all the notes written down. I didn't refresh myself, so I didn't want to talk on it too much in the last one because I want to give accurate information. So I've done a little bit more research on DHT. We're going to talk about that today. And then I also came in with dirty hair. I haven't washed my hair in 4 days. And I want to show you the different ways to use Samson on your hair. Right now I just have, 4 days worth of, I used dry shampoo one day. I've used a working hairspray to curl my hair. So this is usually the day I would put Samson in my hair, sleep with it overnight, and then wash my hair the next day. But I'm going to show you some different uses. So the first thing we want to talk about that really tends to cause hair loss is it's androgens. Androgen is what tends to cause the hair loss. And what happens is those androgens actually lock onto the hair follicle themselves, and then they block, there's what causing the issue, basically. Okay, this is not going to be super sciencey. It's going to be as sciencey as I was willing to go without my mind going, ah. So basically what it is the reason why, so DST is an offshoot of testosterone. And the reason why the DHT is the culprit is the DHT fits into the same receptors as the testosterone does, but it sits in for a much longer period of time. So it ends up starts having the negative side effects of too much testosterone, because it's just not testosterone, it's DHT, which I kept meaning to look that up. I thought it would come up in my research. I should have been more precise. So I can tell you it's a long term, if DHT, the T stands for the T part. The T stands for the testosterone part, but it's such a long, one of those no fun scientific words that they don't even when you talk about them, they don't even spell the darn thing out. I can't even see it in my notes from last time. But it's something testosterone. And we want to block this from fitting into your receptor sites on your body, because that's what can causes the hair loss, because it holds on longer. So what it does is these high levels of androgen, what they do is when they lock onto hair follicles is they actually shrink the follicle. It shortens the hair growth's lifespan. And then it also causes the new hair growth coming in to look more brittle and fall out sooner. So the thing with hair follicles, particularly on the scalp, is that you only have a preset of them in your lifetime existence, okay? So let's say you're born with all your hair follicles on your head, and each hair follicle is only going to live through 30 life cycles or 40 life cycles, okay? The ones on the bottom here are much more dense, and these ones down here they don't tend to fall out near as easy, and they have longer they have more life cycles in them in general, which is why when people tend to go bald, you almost hardly ever lose this. Something down here usually holds on. And then also when you go get hair transplants and things like that, this is the best area to harvest from, because they have a longer shelf life, basically. They hold on longer. They have more hair growth cycles in them, as I understand. So what happens is your hair only has so many, one hair follicle is only going to grow so many times. And after it's done, it's going to turn into a vellus hair follicle. So the vellus hair follicles are you're going to still have hair follicles on your body, but you're going to get the tiny little ones, the ones that you get on the sides of the cheeks here. It's why when you look at a bald person, they're almost never, unless they shave, it's not like there's no follicles. You see all those tiny little itsy bitsy baby hairs. So the more struggles you have with hair loss, the quicker that hair follicle sheds its hair, it starts counting down. All right, now I'm only going to grow 29 more times. Now I'm only going to grow 27 more times. Now I'm only going to grow 26 more times. So we really do want to slow down, particularly up here, the amount of times those hair follicles shed, because they're only going to grow so many times before we turn into a vellus hair. This is also the kind of the drawback for some people. It's not a super common side effect, but it is with laser hair removal, is if you don't go and get proper laser hair removal, what's really going down and killing that stem cell sac down at the bottom, which is why the diode laser is really the best laser you can use for laser hair removal, or lasers that are specifically made for laser hair removal. It's because what happens is if you keep hitting it too shallow and not really treating it, that follicle, instead of killing the follicle, it'll turn it into a vellus hair. And then once it's turned into a vellus hair, you can't keep it anymore. So if you don't want the peach fuzz effect, if you don't want the peach fuzz under your arms, if you don't want the peach fuzz on your bikini line or coochie mama, if you don't want the peach fuzz on your legs, you really need to make sure you get treated with the right type of laser hair removal device, because the whole point of those is you want baby butt smooth. You don't want vellus hair smooth, okay? So that's why we want to prevent the DHT from locking into the receptor sites, okay? So when it comes to the market of hair loss, your options are the Propecia and it's called Proscar. These are the oral versions. Then you've got like Rogaine, which is a topical version. But the thing with Rogaine is there are scientific studies to back this up. It's been done multiple times, not just once. But using rosemary essential oil works just as well, if not better. The science actually shows it actually works a little bit better than using Rogaine. So eventually, I haven't done it yet, but eventually I will come out with a version of Samson that has the rosemary oil in it. It's going to be at a therapeutic level, so it is going to be a stronger essential oil smell. One of the reasons I haven't done it yet is I get a little worried about working with essential oils and skincare, is because even though I know there's lots of benefits to them, I do think that so many companies rely on essential oils to like be the main part of the product. And so many people have reactions to essential oils that I've been kind of hesitant. But I do think it's time I kind of turn Samson and make a very specific one for hair growth, because with the combination of the pumpkin seed oil, which we're going to talk about, with combination of the rosemary seed oil, I think that you'd even see way more hair growth with the Samson oil. So you can use topical Rogaine, but rosemary essential oil actually works better. Just know you should never use essential oils neat. And what neat means is like directly on the skin. You do always want to put them in a carrier oil. So you can even add your own rosemary seed oil to Samson when you're applying it. You can add it to any other type of hair product that you're doing, but don't just put rosemary oil on your hands and massage it in. You do want a carrier oil with it. Biotin taken internally helps as well. The reason the Propecia and the Proscar work orally and the minoxidil, which is the Rogaine, work topically, is because it blocks the hair follicle receptor sites from fitting in, okay? How biotin works taking it orally is biotin, which is also known as B7. It helps boost and maintain the keratin. So it protects and boosts the keratin production, which is why it helps in regards to hair growth and strengthening hair. Like you always are going to see biotin in a skin, hair, and nail supplement. The downfall is that biotin can, if you have acne, biotin can actually exacerbate it. So if you're acne prone or struggle with acne, this is why I don't recommend people take a B complex. It's better to take the individual B vitamins. Like if you're needing more energy, take the B12 or get the B12 shots if you've had your B levels tested, because just taking a complex, and if you have acne, it can exacerbate that. Another thing that came up that I thought was pretty cool, I'm excited about this one, is it's called, I'm going to say this wrong because it's an African word, but it's Pygum. It's Pygeum. So if anybody knows how to properly say that, please phonetically type it for me. But it's either Pygum or Pagum or Pygeme or something like that, and it's a bark. It's the bark of an African cherry tree. It's an oral supplement, and this was really cool. So this is what I thought was cool about it, is they haven't done the research on it for hair loss yet. I know that study's coming, but what they have done is they've given it to men who have had enlarged prostates and prostatitis, because that's another issue with the prostate, is they tend to give you DHT blockers, because again, that the DHT part of testosterone when it hits into those receptor sites, it sits on those receptor sites longer and does its testosterone thing longer. So you get the negative side effects of testosterone. So they found that this supplement has really helped reduce inflammation of the prostate. And so because of that, they're like, because it's such an amazing DHT blocker for the prostate, we're assuming it also is helping with hair, which, yeah, it's going to, but no one has funded the study yet. So I think that's going to be kind of groundbreaking when that comes out. And then they did studies on pumpkin seed oil. So this is how pumpkin seed oil ended up in my formulation, is they've done multiple studies on pumpkin seed oil. And the studies have been done taking internally. They haven't been done topically yet. But what they found is pumpkin seed oil also is a natural DHT blocker. In 2014, they did a study where they had 76 men who had alopecia and all different forms of it, not just the DHT style alopecia, but there's multiple forms in alopecia. And there's also multiple forms that they've never found cures for or help for. So just know that that's in those numbers too. But 76 of them had alopecia, and 40% of them noticed that their hair got better. And it wasn't just like they looked in the mirror and was like, oh yeah, my hair is looking better. It wasn't a placebo effect thing. They actually counted the hair growth that was happening on the scalp per square inch. And there was, in 40%, they had like significant hair response to where they're like, yeah, this works really well. And they were taking 400 milligrams a day. It was for 6 months. It was for 24 weeks. But just so you know what 400 milligrams is, on this little kid, this is 1 milligram. And 400 milligrams is 0.45 milliliters. So they're literally taking drops. Like, it's probably a total of like 5 or 6 drops in the mouth that got this improvement. So because of that, I started working with it and formulating into my Samson oil. So I put the pumpkin seed oil in there. There's a whole bunch of benefits that I'm going to go over real quick. Just know that the Samson oil actually can be used anywhere on the body. It can be used in the scalp, on the face, on the hair, on the lashes. I like to put it on my kitty cat hairs because it makes, as you get older, they start looking a little bit dull and like not as like vibrant and youthful. So I just put a little oil down there. I've used it on my legs. I've used it on my body. Overall, this is a fantastic oil. The reason why we found out it worked so amazingly well at growing lashes is because I had a young client who was 17 who was putting it on her face. She thought it was the Brilliant CNE oil because it's the same kind of color orange. She wasn't looking at the label. And she was using the Brilliant CNE oil thinking, well, maybe this will help clear up my acne, which people have had success with that. But she was using it on her face. Not only did it clear up her acne quickly, but after like a month or so, she noticed that her she's just putting it on. Her lashes were going insane. So that's how we found out it was such an amazing hair growth oil. And if it's going to work on the lashes, it's definitely going to work on the hair. So you can use this oil everywhere. I've had people use it to get rid of their acne. I've had to use it on their face. I've had to use it on their body oil. Like, you can use it anywhere. So what it does is it plays a crucial role in skin and hair regeneration. It's a biosynthesis, so it's 50% linoleic acid, which was one of the most important essential fatty acids you can put on your skin. It is partly what helps to actually create cell membranes. So it's a really important essential fatty acid to have on your body. Pumpkin seed oil is 50% that. It fights against acne. It softens skin. It helps make your skin look more youthful. Same thing with the hair. It helps the hair look more youthful. And it's super anti-aging. It is a major DHT blocker where there's studies to back it up. Again, we don't have the topical studies yet, but the oral studies are very strong in showing that it's a great DHT blocker. And how it works as a DHT blocker is it reduces the enzyme that converts the testosterone into DHT. Pumpkin is also really high in vitamin A. It has enzymes and it's very softening. So that's why it's very conditioning and softening to the hair as well. Prevents with hair loss and it's not greasy. Okay, so papaya. Okay, so with papaya, it also is really high in enzymes. That's where papain comes from, right? So it's very softening to the hair. It's what gives it a more like supple. I also think it helps improve the pigment. So the people I've had use it in their beard, the color in their beard has improved. It's more glittery and sparkly. Papain also helps strengthens hair, and it helps stimulate fast and healthy hair growth. It's also not greasy and also prevents hair loss. Then we get into the blueberries. So the blueberry seed oil also is really good for hair. If you start researching it, they commonly say to put blueberry seed oil into hair products. It really cuts down on fizz. It also helps with hair growth and regeneration. Then there's carrot seed oil. It also has enough antidotal effects. So this is not an oil that they've studied, but it has enough antidotal evidence to support that it stimulates hair growth. It makes the actual hair shaft and hair stronger at the root. So because it makes the root of the hair so healthy, the hair has a much less chance of breakage. And this is one of the reasons why it works so well in preserving and stimulating hair growth and preventing hair loss. It's got the safflower seed oil in it, which helps with blood circulation. So again, that leads to hair growth because it makes the root of the hair strong and giving it more nutrients, thereby it grows the hair faster, it grows a stronger hair, it grows a happier hair. Safflower is also loaded with vitamin E, so it's very healthy to the hair shaft. And then it has the meadowfoam in it. So meadowfoam is in there to help preserve the length of the formulation so it lasts a little bit longer. But it also helps strengthen hair. It prevents breakage. It prevents water loss from the hair. So it helps keep the moisture trapped in the hair. It also has like a really nice slip to it. So a lot of companies will use meadowfoam in their formulations to like take on the feel of like a silicone product. And then it also works like a humectant. It traps the hair it traps moisture in the hair. So that's basically what the formulation of Samson is. And I'm going to show you different ways to use it. So the first way to use it is on lashes. So I didn't wear any mascara. So just so you know, it comes in 3 sizes. It comes in the little mini size, which is not the super mini. I actually did a 10 milliliter on the hair oil because you tend to use more if you're using hair treatments with it. Of course, I don't have one right here, but it's a little guy. It's a little 10 milliliter with the dropper. Then we got a 30 milliliter size like this with the dropper. And then the 60 milliliter size comes with a metal lid and the crystals in the bottle. The reason we did it with a metal lid on the 60 ml is we wanted to offer a plastic-free option. Lots of times when people buy this one, it could be because they're refilling the small guy or also because they need to get more product out. So the problem with the droppers on bigger bottles is you don't get any more product in a 60 milliliter dropper than you really do a 30 milliliter dropper. And when you're wanting to do more treatments style where you use more oil, what we found out is when you still have to do this like 5 or 6 times to get the amount of oil you want. And the longer pipette tends to cause the bottle to spill over easy. People aren't used to, like 60 milliliter pipettes are long. So because it's that action of going in and out, we had just found it's better to do the 60 ml with a cap. Especially if you're going to do like the pour out method to do a treatment. So just know that if you buy the 60 right now, there's not a pipette option for it. I am working on it because half the time when people buy the 60, I get an email being like, does it not come with a pipette? It doesn't. It's on the website. I know I can totally understand why you would assume it did come with a pipette, but they don't. And if you're really wanting a pipette, when you place the order in the comment where it asks about notes, just say in there, can I please have the 60 with a pipette? Because we can make them. I just don't have enough to completely switch over. And again, for all the reasons we talked about the metal cap. So if you're going to use it on your lashes, you either can take 1 drop off of a dropper, or what I do, because I always just have this bottle, is I just tip it and then I just kind of wipe off the excess. I just got a little bit here, okay? And how you're going to do it is you just fluff it into the lashes. This is one of the lash products that you want it on the lashes themselves. It's not about getting it on the skin, it's about getting it on the lash. And then I take the leftover and go back and forth in my eyebrows. I'm not going to do it right now because I just did my eyebrows, but then I would go like this. It has been recommended from past experiences of when people put it directly on their eyes and go immediately to bed, they have woken up kind of an oil film on their eyes. So you do want to do it about a half hour before you go to bed. Like give it some time to like soak into the hairs. You can even go underneath like this, but just fluff them up. Let it sit for a moment and then go to bed, okay? The other way to use it in your hair is you just use a little bit. So if I was using a dropper, I'd use 4 to 5 drops. And I use it as an anti-frizz agent. So before I created this oil, I never thought I would be able to use it like this. I've never been able to use hair oils in my hair that didn't make my hair look greasy. I have really fine hair. I have a lot of hair, but it's really fine. I've got way more of like the Irish, Scottish, Northern European hair than I did of the Portuguese. I wish I had the Portuguese hair. My mom has flipping amazing hair. I did not get the Portuguese hair. I got the calicky Irish, Scottish hair. So I've never been able to put oils in my hair and it just not look greasy after I put them in. So I didn't think I'd be able to use this oil besides treatment. And once I started using it for styling, it actually kind of changed my life. So it doesn't make it look greasy. I mean, this is not going to be the best test today because my hair is already dirty. But when it's even fresh out of the shower clean, I can take like 2 drops and I put it right to help with the frizz. And then I also scrunch it in towards the bottom. One of the things that you'll notice with this oil that has really surprises everyone who uses it is it causes your curl pattern to actually start curling up, okay? It may not do it as much on me right now because I have old product in my hair. Let me put some more in there. But when you start scrunching this in your hair, your natural curls are going to start being drawn to each other and they're going to line up. It happens when guys add it in their beard. My dad has a long like ZZ top style beard. And he always brushed it and put oil in it, but he never ever saw waves. He never ever saw curls in his beard. And when he started using the Samson oil, all of a sudden he started getting waves and curls. It really surprised him. He didn't know his beard could do that. The other thing I really want to stress is if you use Samson, if you decide to get some pumpkin seed oil and start eating it to help with internal DHT, you do really want to get unrefined oil. You got to remember, like, all those studies are being done, the topical versions, well, those haven't been done yet, but the oral versions, they're doing it with the unrefined oils. They're doing it with the nutrient dense oils. So you got to remember, a lot of skincare companies, like other companies out there, if the pumpkin seed oil doesn't look like this, it's been refined. The reason why Samson looks like this is because of the carrot seed and the pumpkin seed. Blueberry is dark, dark purple. Safflower and meadow foam are almost clear. So the reason it's this color is because, I mean, look at that in my hand. You can see how orange it is, just with like a thin amount of it, okay? And no, the orange is not going to stain your hair. If you have beautiful white hair or gray hair, this is not going to pigment it. The carotenoids, that's what's in here that's causing all those nutrients, those carotenoids are not going to stain your hair. You don't have to worry about that at all. It's not going to give them an orange tint. So as you can see, like, you can kind of see what it's doing to my hair as I scrunch it. It's starting to actually like give it a style without me having to do anything. Okay. So this is another way you can use it. So what I was saying is a lot of hair products on the market, if they have pumpkin seed oil and they aren't this color, they're not the unrefined version of oil, they're the refined version. And you're not going to get the benefit as much as if they had been using an unrefined oil, because it's the things in the unrefined oil, that 5-alpha reductase enzyme, that's what's preventing the testosterone from turning into DHT. So that's why this is such a significant study. Okay, so the problem is when I was doing my research is that with the minoxidil, this is a major problem, the one that goes on topically, and with the oral ones, is you can have side effects to taking DHT. So this is not really for girls, but for guys, if you're blocking too much testosterone, the DHT kind, not just DHT, but if you're blocking, it blocks the receptor site either way, okay? So it blocks it whether it's DHT and it blocks it whether it's testosterone, because it's the same receptor site that the testosterone and the DHT are locking into. So we really only want to block the DHT, but you can't just block the DHT. It's just the DHT is going to sit on that receptor site longer and then start creating more issues of too much testosterone, okay? So the side effects, if you start taking the DHT blockers or using the minoxidil, is that it can cause erectile dysfunction, which no one wants that, really. Some people do, but no. It can cause premature ejaculation. Again, no one really wants that. It can cause breast tenderness. It can cause rashes. And then it goes into more things like, it can make it like the extreme side effects, which most people are not going to be getting sick. So the benefit of using pumpkin seed oil topically and internally is it works. It's not, they call it a DHT blocker because it's the category that it fits in, but it's not blocking the receptor site like what the Propecia and the Proscar and the minoxidil Rogaine does. What it's doing is it's producing an enzyme to where the testosterone never turns into DHT. Do you see where this is leading? So they're still getting the testosterone they need. It's still fitting into the receptor sites they want, but it's just not converting into DHT, and that's ideally what you want. So that is why I feel that the pumpkin seed oil is really superior to take internally. It's much more superior to put on topically than some of these other options, because we actually want the receptor sites to work for testosterone. We just don't want it to work for the DHT. And if it doesn't get to convert into DHT in the first place, that's a big problem solver for us. Okay. So I've put it in my lashes. I've put it in like as a styling aid. If my hair was more fresh and it hadn't curled it like twice this week, you'd start seeing it curl up more, but you can start seeing it now. Like when I scrunch this up, it's starting to kind of go into some curl pattern. I don't know if you guys can see that. So then there's the treatment method of using it. And the treatment method is you want to use a lot. Okay. And you're gonna, yes, my bed's unmade because I don't care. We're just living our best lives over here. You're gonna take it and you're gonna massage it into the scalp. So the thing is when you just use it as a styling aid at the, like on the ends, this is gonna be what's gonna make your hair like healthy and shiny, and it will look good. But if you really want the benefits of like, you don't want your hair falling out anymore, you want your hair to start growing in thicker, that is when you want to put it on your scalp and really massage it in. And I tell people to either do this 2 hours before they take a shower or do it the night before like I do it. I then put like a silk sleeping cap on because then the oil will mainly stay in my hair. It won't go into the silk. And then the next morning I wash it with shampoo and conditioner. Okay, so you want it to sit to get the benefits. I will say this. When I developed this product, I have Hashimoto's. And how I found out I had Hashimoto's is I started getting bald spots on my scalp. We found one like this, and then we found one like this on the back here. And it's really terrifying for people who have Hashimoto's because, again, when you start getting those spots, I lost a hair growth cycle. So in that little spot, one was down to 15 more growths, one was down to 2 more growths, one was down to 7 more growths. Like, you don't want to just drop hair, okay? Because then when it replaces it, I've gone down a count, right? Like we talked about at the beginning. So I was terrified. I didn't know if it was ever going to get better. I didn't know if this was just now, because you get the spots and then you also just get the profuse loosening of hair, okay? Like where you're just kind of like this, where you go like that and just, it comes out scattered, not in an actual chunk. So I got treatment for my Hashimoto's. I went on a product called LDN, low-dose naltrexone. It dropped my antibodies way, way down to the point where, and it healed my thyroid so much that now I can't even take a thyroid medication at all because it makes me too hyper. So I just take low-dose naltrexone, LDN, for my Hashimoto's. But still about once a year, I would find a bald spot, okay? Like they'd start out small and sometimes they'd stop and then sometimes they'd get bigger. But I've had one here, I've had one over here. And since I started using my oil 2.5 years ago now, because I developed this, I developed it around this, so 2 years. I've had this oil 2 years now. I haven't had hasn't been a single Hashimoto's spot on my scalp at all. It's completely stopped that. And my hair is getting thicker and fuller and better. I still have this type of shedding. Like, again, I haven't washed my hair in 4 days, so I haven't really brushed it. I brushed it a little bit, but I kind of like the messy look because it makes my hair look thicker and fuller. But yeah, so try Samson out. If you are struggling with hair loss, try it the different ways. Try it as a deep treatment. Try it as a little styling aid. It's also amazing for men's beards. I've had men report back saying that it's helped with the blotchiness in their beard. It's a really amazing product. It surprised me. I originally just made it for my ex-fiance who wanted a beard oil. And the next thing I knew, it just turned into this amazing product for me. So does anybody have any questions before I let you go? Thank you so much for tuning in. It's very kind of you guys all to join. This person's from Barbados. Oh, so they want me to come teach in Barbados. It means you must be there. Yes, I would love, yes, let's teach in Barbados. I've got an account right now in Dubai that really wants me to come educate. And I'm like, yes, let's go to Dubai. Thank you so much, Shayla. I finally learned how to use an actual like marker to like draw little lines. It's been life-changing for me. Yeah, so those are all the different ways to apply. People are just like, thanks for showing. I do give you can also use it as a cuticle oil. It really, like any type of keratin, it's going to work on anything keratin. So skin, hair, nails, it's going to nurture it and feed it all. Okay, let's see. Can you add in? So go ahead and message me, Dolphine33, and let me know what you're wanting. And of course, I can do whatever you need. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have questions, please message me. But yeah, that's the Samson oil. Check them out.